This is the story of a man who showed us what it truly means to love our neighbors. But be warned, this message isn't just comforting, it's challenging. It's a story that flips our assumptions upside down, about who deserves our compassion and care. Are you ready to hear it? Let's go. Our story begins on a dusty road, winding down from Jerusalem to Jericho. The terrain is rugged, almost desolate. Thieves and robbers often use this remote path to ambush travelers. It's a road of risk and danger, but also a road of encounters that test the heart. On this particular day, a Jewish man is traveling alone along this road when tragedy strikes. Out of nowhere, he is attacked. A gang of robbers surrounds him. They beat him, strip him of his belongings, and leave him half dead on the roadside. He lies there, barely clinging to life under the unforgiving sun. Blood stains the earth beneath him, and the world seems to move on without noticing his plight. But wait, here comes hope, or so we think. By chance, a priest is traveling the same road. Surely a man of God, a representative of justice and mercy, will stop to help. He sees the broken traveler from a distance, but as the priest approaches, he moves to the opposite side of the road, avoiding the man entirely. Perhaps he fears the robbers are still nearby, or maybe he doesn't want to risk becoming ceremonially unclean. Whatever the reason, he passes by, and hope flickers out. The man groans in pain, alone again. Minutes later, another shadow falls over him. This time it's a Levite, a temple assistant. He too is a religious leader and knows the scripture's command to love others. He slows his pace as he approaches. Surely this has to be the moment of rescue. But no. After seeing the man, the Levite walks away, continuing on his journey as if nothing happened. At this point, you might be thinking, how could they not help? But wait. There's another figure on the horizon, but this person is different. He's a Samaritan. To fully understand why this is significant, we need a history lesson. Jews and Samaritans disdained each other. Their feud goes back centuries, based on religious and cultural differences. No one would expect a Samaritan to stop for a Jew. And yet this Samaritan does the unexpected. He doesn't just slow down. He sees. He sees the man lying there in agony, and his heart fills with compassion. And then he acts. He kneels down beside the injured traveler, unbothered by the potential dangers. His hands are gentle as he bandages the man's wounds, pouring on oil and wine to cleanse and soothe the injuries. But he doesn't stop there. Moving the man onto his own donkey, the Samaritan walks while the injured man rides. Step by step, they move together toward safety. His care doesn't end when they reach the inn. He stays with the man through the night, tending to him personally. Who does that? For a stranger, much less an enemy. The next morning, the Samaritan gives 2 denarii to the innkeeper, equivalent to 2 days' wages. "Take care of him," he says, "and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expenses you may have." His generosity and compassion have no limits. Now imagine, as you're hearing this story, that it's being told by Jesus himself. He's standing in front of a crowd, responding to a lawyer who had asked, "Who is my neighbor?" At the end of the story, Jesus flips the question back to the lawyer. "Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers?" The lawyer can't avoid the obvious answer. "The one who had mercy on him," he replies. And Jesus' response is simple yet profound. "Go and do likewise." So what does this mean for us? We live in a world divided by boundaries, racial, religious, political, you name it. But this story challenges us to break down those barriers. The Samaritan didn't look at the injured man and see an enemy. He saw a human being in need. The real question this story poses is not, "Who is my neighbor?" but rather, "Am I willing to be a neighbor?" It's a call to love without conditions, without restrictions, without boundaries. Think about it. Who in your life might need your compassion right now? Maybe it's someone you've overlooked or even avoided. This story isn't just a parable, it's a mirror. It reflects how we treat others and challenges us to do better. Imagine a world where everyone acted like the Samaritan, where kindness wasn't reserved for those who look like us, think like us, or live near us. That's the kind of world Jesus is calling us to build. Let us not just hear this story and walk away unchanged, like the priest and the Levite. Let it spark a revolution in our hearts. Let us see the unseen, care for the uncared for, and love those we're told to hate. The road from Jerusalem to Jericho might seem far away, but it's closer than you think. It's in your neighborhood, your workplace, your daily commute. So the next time you encounter someone in need, what will you do? Will you pass by, or will you stop? Because at the end of the day, the question isn't, who deserves my compassion, but rather, am I willing to be compassionate? The choice is ours. Go and do likewise.